Hello and welcome to another episode of Pause for Payments. I'm Kristy Duncan and I'm really delighted to be chatting today with two amazing women from around the world of payments. Carrie Blakenship is Director of Product Management, Instant and Emerging Payments from Fiserv, and she's based in Atlanta. We also have Chaula Pandya, SVP and Chief Technology Officer from Community Bank of the Bay, based in San Francisco. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Today, we're going to talk about what's next in the world of payments. Community banks are a part of the payments infrastructure, playing a role in moving money and information on behalf of many local communities and businesses. Most have a strong connection with their customers, but are challenged with competition and meeting customer expectations in instant everything. Today, we're going to try to unpack these challenges and understand the advancements in payments and what's driving the market. So, Carrie, let's start by this discussion by telling the audience about Fiserv and your role and what you do there.
Sure. Thanks, Kristy. As you mentioned, I am the Director of Product Management for Instant and Emerging Payments. In the U.S., of course, that is the clearinghouse RTP service, as well as the upcoming FedNow service. So I will start with RTP. That's what we have today. It's live, it's in production. And Fiserv is deploying and working with our financial institution clients in a variety of ways. So not only are we working on just connectivity to the clearinghouse service, we're doing it through multiple deployment models because there's really no such thing as a one-size-fits-all. RTP and instant payments are really new to the U.S. market, and there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of education that is going on in the market, not only from Fiserv, but from all types of global associations talking about instant payments can work together, different use cases, and where we're all headed with that. So I'll pause there because we've got a lot to discuss, and I'm glad to have one of our clients here with us too that I will let you introduce.
Fantastic. Chaula, you've got this fantastic role at Community Bank of the Bay. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so Community Bank of the Bay is a community development financial institution. It's a designation that's awarded by the Treasury Department, and we're also founder of Bay Area Green Fund. And we have offices that ring the Bay, and we serve our communities with the CDFI designation, and also supporting the sustainable businesses through Bay Area Green Fund. I have been with the bank for about 19 years in many different roles, and including cash management, chief financial officer, head of HR, and now most recently as a chief technology officer, and looking to grow the bank with innovation. And that's where RTP comes into play.
Wow, fantastic. What a fantastic range of experience you've got, Chaula. I'm sure it brings a whole amazing in-depth perspective to what you do and the community that you serve. Let's start with Chaula. Can you talk about your view of payments and the role that payments play for Community Bank of the Bay?
Yeah, so we offer all the traditional payments that are currently available in the market today. Electronic banking, ACH wire transfers, etc. But with fintech pushing the edge, we need to be more on top of innovation, and we need to be strategic in our role as a community bank. And especially now that we're in the backyard of Silicon Valley, we can't expect to be a sleepy bank in the Bay Area. And so that's where RTP comes into play, and receiving and sending payments 24/7, 365 days a year, including holidays and weekends, is just going to change our community and the offerings that community banks do in the Bay Area. And we're looking forward to being one of the first banks in the Bay Area to offer RTP.
Fantastic. I love that quote. I might re-quote you on that in the future, Chaula. We can't afford to be a sleepy bank. No truer words were ever spoken. That's really insightful. Carrie, you have worked in banks. You're now at Fiserv, partnering with banks as technology partners. What do you expect to see in payments in the US market in the next few years?
Great question. So what I believe that we're going to see is we're going to see a real shift in the payments mix. And what I mean by that is if you have this digital payments pie, this is an analogy that I like to use, and you talk about the pie itself, the slices may change slightly, and you may see a shift from one payment type to another, and some of that remains to be seen. But overall, if the pie itself gets bigger, even changing the mix of that is a good thing. You are creating choice in the marketplace. You are creating efficiencies. You are creating opportunity to improve situations. Just taking Chaula's reference to 24/7, 365. How many of us cannot come up with a use case where an after-hours payment, clearing and settling, whether it's a holiday, an evening, or a weekend, there are use cases that can be a really important opportunity for banks to be in that instant payment space, being able to either expand business hours, deliver funds more quickly. So I go back to the experience. And I do believe that instant payments have the opportunity to take a bad experience inherently, and it can improve it. Because sometimes just getting your money a little bit faster can make all the difference.
And very likely the payments as well.
Yeah.
You know, rent payments are a perfect example. No one wants to make late payments and pay penalties. So if somebody does have the ability to make the RTP payment using RTP as their rent payment, why not? They will avoid all the penalties. So I think it's going to help out consumers and businesses alike.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great points. Great points. This is so exciting to be moving into this new, brave new real-time world. Chaula, I believe you're planning to connect to TCH's RTP network. Can you talk about your real-time payment strategy and what you see as the benefits of real-time payments?
Yeah, so COVID taught us a huge lesson. State of California had decided to make grants to micro businesses using a fintech payment channel. And we couldn't participate in that particular channel because we were not a registered user of that fintech. And because of that reason, when we were introduced to RTP, it was an opportunity for us to embrace change and get ahead of the payment strategies that are coming into play and make our bank an innovative bank, in addition to offering the traditional channels for payments. So to be able to offer our clients a choice of payment and the quickness of those payments that they can make to either businesses or consumers would be a real benefit to our clients and our community. And we have partnered with Fiserv for many, many years. And when they came to us with the RTP product offering, we couldn't help ourselves but to embrace that and sign up for RTP and offer that opportunity of a payment channel to our clients.
I love this. It's win-win-win for everybody. So winning for the customers, winning for the community, winning for the technology, and ultimately it's all about giving choice to customers. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
Thanks for that. Carrie, I want to get back to you and ask if you can share some insights from Fiserv's perspective on how you're approaching real-time payments with TCH, FedNow, Zelle, et cetera. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Love to. So that's a question that comes up actually quite a lot, Kristy. So when you're talking about the different instant payment types, I think I Googled real-time payments once not too long ago, and within seconds, there was like 1.4 billion hits. So there's so much information out there, and there's so many. We're evolving and things are changing. And what we like to do is we like to say, listen, there's no such thing as one size fits all. I do have a background coming from 2 different banks prior to Fiserv. I do believe that each financial institution is truly unique. Each financial institution has a unique set of clients, of their own account holders. Each client, each financial institution has their unique skill set. And for that reason, the number of payment and instant payments in the marketplace, there's no such thing as one size fits all. And so our approach is to figure out what are your priorities as a financial institution, not just in payments. What are your priorities as an overall financial institution? And how can payments, specifically instant payments, potentially help you in that space? How do we help you solve that challenge? Is it about growing your balance sheet? Is it about creating additional customer satisfaction? Is it operational? What are some of those things, and how can your unique payment mix, how can you put that puzzle together to solve those challenges and address those priorities within your own institution? Because I really believe that there is so much that has changed in the last few years, just the rate of change in the last few years and the rate of change in the next few years, it's only accelerating. So we want to work together to help you figure out what is the right strategy to solve for your unique needs.
That's a great perspective, Carrie, always giving customers options and recognizing that one size does not fit all. So that's great. I want to come back to Chaula now. Can you tell us, in your perspective, what's next for payments? What do you see coming down the pipe? What's the future look like?
Well, the payment industry is going to continue to evolve, and I see RTP actually taking a lead in the payment industry. Just imagine escrow companies being able to settle a real estate transaction within seconds, even on a weekend or on a holiday if they had to. Consumers being able to receive invoices and make payments through either it's ATM or online banking or mobile banking. That way they have the choice and ability to make payments from wherever they may be, and make the choices that are best for them and their families. And likewise for businesses, they're going to be able to have ability to select in the time frame that they would like to make these payments in. And I think RTP is just going to take over and allow businesses and consumers alike choices that they like to make. And given the millennials and instant gratification, I think RTP is just going to be a total game changer.
Fantastic. Well, it's so true. I mean, our customer expectations have changed a lot, especially since the onset of COVID. We do a whole lot more online, we do a whole lot more e-commerce, and we're expecting that instant gratification, whatever it looks like, whatever service you're using. It's all so true, and it's all evolving as we speak. I want to go back to Carrie now, and I know that you're working with regulators and network providers and customers to increase their education and awareness of real-time payments and their benefits. How do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of eyes. There's a lot of information. There's a lot going on in this space. We've talked about, just the number of Google hits all by themselves. So when we're talking with the different entities and the different players, there's so many different ways. I go back to how you solve the puzzle, but talking with the regulators, it's important that not only are we consulting with our clients, but we're really excited and lucky with this new payment scheme that we have input on how it's going and how it's developing. So when you talk about, regulatory issues, not only do you think about the regulations themselves, but you have to think about, how those regulations impact the client, because it has to come all the way through. It's not just about financial institutions. It's not just about providers. It's not just about the networks or the regulation. It's all about making sure that these things come together in a way that ultimately benefits the end users. So, she referenced, whether it's a business or whether it's an individual consumer, you have to think about it on the whole vertical from beginning to end. And as a provider, I guess you could look at it, we're kind of lucky because we're right in the middle. So we've got the service providers, we've got the regulators, and then we have clients, and then we have, we're really right in the middle. So we're in a really great position, and we're really lucky to be able to talk to stakeholders all along the value chain and all along the implementation in the industry. So I get excited, but I love this, and I think it's so great, and I think it's such a neat position to be in. And I think as an industry, we are in such an interesting place that it's just gonna take off. I agree with Chaula completely on that.
Well, we're all on the edge of our seats to see where it goes from here, because it's been an exciting ride so far. And I love Chaudra's quote, "We can't afford to be a sleepy bank." So clearly there's lots of excitement going forward. Thank you for your thoughts on this. I'd like to close our conversation today by asking a question that I ask all of our Pause for Payments guests. And that is, if you were to give career advice to the rising stars in our audience, what would that be? Do you want to start, Carrie?
Sure, great question. Really, I love to encourage our teams to lean in and learn and listen, because there are different opportunities that are going to present themselves at different points. So whether it's, seeing a new use case or recognizing, that there's a client that has a specific need. Well, that need, while very likely unique, is potentially a way that could be, maybe it seems unique, but there might be opportunity to expand on that. So listen not only to, specific requests and questions, but think about a product and think about, how can you deliver in a way that is delightful. You want to delight your customers, and the best way to do that is find find those options and opportunities that maybe they weren't even sure that they needed. Solve problems that they didn't even realize maybe were problems until, oh, wow, that's great. So those are the things that I think help you really stand out, are solving problems that maybe people didn't even know they had.
I love that advice. Thanks for that, Carrie. Chandra, I'm going to give you the last word here. What career advice would you give to the amazing women in our audience?
Well, I would say not to worry about what others think when you take chances. Take the chances and live through them, with experience and learn from those experiences. I really think that team play is a big opportunity when it comes to payments and just growth. Without a team, we can't be where we are today, and let the team take the chances along with you and go for the ride.
I love that. And you're so right. The fintechs of the world and the innovators in the world, they all take chances and they all work really tightly with their teams. It's all about collaboration. Going back to Carrie's point, is we need to collaborate to offer amazing services to our clients, whoever they may be. Thank you both for a really insightful discussion. I love hearing about where we're going with real-time payments and what we can expect to see coming in the future, both near and medium term. It's been a fabulous discussion. Thank you for your input.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chris.
Thanks to everybody in our audience for listening. I'm going to encourage you to tune in, share this with your friends and colleagues, and join us for other Pause for Payments webinars that we host with inspirational women leaders from around the world of payments. Thank you.